G'day, Ajmaharishorts here. To respond to a comment that was left, well, there's been so many, but yeah, okay, so on the video I did, where is it? Borderline awareness of ghosting can't do relationships. Person responding back to another person said, I know the feeling. It feels kind of off when they are talking about respect. People with BP are they, right? But then giving you all the blame, false hope, ghosting, silent treatment, this and that in return. Like you said, I've been trying the best I could as well. It hurt. Whenever I tried to talk about the relationship and what we could change, to make it better, I just got blocked off. Well, person with BP defends against, especially untreated, they defend against all that you're trying to accomplish there. Because, well, I'll get to that in a minute. And so then the comment said, I felt like it was going nowhere. Because the trauma-bonded relationships that are toxic between people with untreated or not significantly treated BPD and people with codependency aren't going anywhere. That's a really harsh reality. That a lot of people with codependency spend years trying to understand. You need to get into that healing recovery process. I'm out here to work with you on that if I resonate with you. Because otherwise, there's a reason that it feels meaningless, because I'm not saying a whole relationship is meaningless, but for what you hoped it would be, for what you thought it would be, for the codependent repetition compulsions from deep within your unconscious that relate to why you have codependency and what happened for you in your childhood, can seem pretty meaningless. And yet the most meaningful aspect of the trauma-bonded agony of the BPD relationship breakup is the opportunity inside all that pain for people with codependency to really get into therapy, heal and recover from codependency, family of origin, inner child healing work, self-differentiation, etc., and heal from the relationship with a person with BPD who you might not think about it right now, but who inadvertently and unconsciously from the unconscious has given you the gift of a lifetime. Won't feel like that maybe, but it is an opportunity that comes with crisis of how you can really learn what you need to learn about what happened to you in your childhood. Why are you codependent? So it's not about solving the mystery of the relationship, the situationship, the borderline, or the narcissist. It's about solving the mystery of why you have codependency and why you hurt so much. So whenever, you would try, codependents try to talk about it with the person with BPD, they'll change to another topic, you get blocked off, and it's going nowhere. Untreated or not significantly enough treated people with BPD, their childhood trauma and repetition compulsion cycles, 50% of the trauma bond. The codependent brings 50% of the trauma bond, your childhood trauma, and your repetition compulsions. And I'm not saying they're exactly the same, but this is why the relationship or situationship goes nowhere. Sooner or later, they all go nowhere. And why it might have felt meaningless. And yet now, you can extract more meaning out of this experience in therapy. Looking at your codependency, your childhood, your wounded inner child, you can make it the most meaningful experience of your life. And the choice is yours. Are you going to focus on you today? Are you going to get into therapy? I'm out here to work with you if I resonate with you. Are you going to do that? Or are you going to keep focusing on the cluster B and obfuscating your own way forward to what it is you need to now know more about so you can have a healthy relationship to and with yourself, firstly and foremostly, And then moving through the process of healing and recovery, you can then look toward getting into a healthy relationship. Instead of repeating your childhood and your past, it's not just all about the borderline repeating their childhood and their past. It's a 50-50 trauma bond. And the other person. The commenter said, I went no contact as soon as she blamed me for self-harm. That's where I had to put an end to it without a doubt. And that they still miss this person. Shame they can't see the effort. They did everything seems meaningless. Well, people with BPD, believe it or not, are putting in a lot of effort too. That goes nowhere. Because of, they don't know themselves. They're unconscious, childhood trauma repeating itself. Same thing is happening for people with codependency. It might not be the same trauma. It might not be to the same degree. This is why people with BPD and people with codependency, or people with NPD and people with codependency, come together in a trauma-bonded situationship. And then each party thinks everything's about the other to some degree, right? But the person with codependency is like, what? I'm not this person they think I am. And like I've said in other videos, it's for the borderline, it's object other, representation of parent. That's who they're relating to. For people with codependency, it's pretty darn similar to that. Though I won't put it in the same language, but this with the overlap between BPD BPD and codependency. The reality is that people with codependency, whatever you think is meaningless, or why couldn't the borderline just do better? Insert parent instead of borderline. Start focusing on you. Get into your own recovery, family of origin, inner child healing work, etc. Because that's going to bring you closure. That's going to give you the answers you need, and that's how you're going to heal your pain. Not by going, people comment all you want and share all you want, but not by focusing on the ex with BPD and what they did or how hard you tried to change them and fix them or get them to understand. Because as a codependent, you're trying to get mom or dad to hear you, see you, and understand in a not so dissimilar way as a person with borderline personality disorder is doing the same thing or a similar thing. Think about it. This is a crisis in your life. This is painful. This is traumatizing if you have codependency. But this is a golden opportunity. Don't let it slide by. Don't continue to suffer. Don't continue to focus on the borderline and abandon yourself. Get into therapy. It's not easy. Difficult work. But boy, can you ever, change your life? Instead of focusing on what you wish could have happened, what might have been, what would have, could have. It's a golden opportunity. Are you going to grab it? And are you going to go for it? And are you going to focus on yourself? That's the question for each person with codependency to think about. Take care.